Hi Thomas, here's the feedback from question 5 of the paper 2 mock that you've done recently. So it's good to see that you started off with interesting heading. Could have done with an apostrophe in there, but we will be looking at apostrophes in the next couple of weeks. And it's a good start here with the words "it has been argued in recent years," and you've gone on to give your argument. And you've also mentioned the fact that reports of some students having the homework done. So there's 2 examples of persuasive or linguistic devices being used. In your second paragraph, you've gone on and give further examples of why homework seems to be pointless, and more reasons again. You've brought in a different idea here where the student who's struggling, if they don't do the homework or somebody else does it for them, teachers are unaware that they're struggling. And again here you've changed to talk about the stress that teens are under with some emotive language here. Topic stresses of hormones, change to body, and maintain friendships and find relationships. So this is all good. Good use of powerful words, conflicting deadlines between homework and coursework. And then we've got emotive language again, causes numerous stress-related health issues from weight loss and exhaustion to depression and anxiety. So these are good, strong words to be using. You should have had a capital letter there to start your next sentence. You've identified the fact that some students do enjoy doing their work and practice by repeating what they've done in class. Again, a strong word here, who despise, or parents who are obsessed. So it's good that you're using this strong language. And you've pointed out the fact that those who enjoy doing homework would, if it was removed, would actively seek it by asking the teachers for more work or going online or getting books. And then you've concluded with a suggestion of how homework could be replaced. Although I'm not sure what you mean by this little bit here. I could replace homework with end of unit tests, which emphasis being placed on their low importance. I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, so perhaps you can explain that to me. And then it says this would ensure that all students take part and that the work submitted is that of the student as opposed to that of the parent or other external personage. So you've got some interesting ideas in there. So if we look at the mark scheme now, so if we look at the upper level 2, it starts off with some sustained attempt to match register to audience. Well, you've definitely done that. You've kept the formal voice all the way through as befitting a broadsheet newspaper. Some sustained attempt to match purpose. Well, again, you know that you are trying to put your point of view over, which you've done. Conscious use of vocabulary with some use of linguistic devices. Again, you've used some interesting words, as I've already mentioned, and there's some use of linguistic devices, as I've mentioned before. We've said it has been argued, and with reports of some students, and you've got quite a bit of emotive language here. However, to get you up into the level 3 or higher, I think we need to see some more linguistic devices or the persuasive devices. For example, surveys or statistics, where you could have said 70% of students, when asked, reported that they hate doing homework and find it very stressful. Or the headmaster of a local school said. All of this backs up and lends credibility to your argument. Obviously, you have to make the information up because you've not got it to hand, but it is quite permissible in your exam to make information up. If we look at the organisation, some use of structural features. Well, again, yes, you've got a heading, you've got your introductory paragraph and then clear paragraphs throughout with your concluding paragraph at the end. Increasing variety of linked and relevant ideas. Well, yes, all your ideas are relevant and you have linked them. You have used paragraphs, however, you've not really used discourse markers. although you have used good words to start your sentences off, so you've got perhaps it's time while there are students and there are other factors. So it may be that you might need in some situations to use on the other hand and furthermore and first or finally and so on. So just bear those in mind if you do need to use them. So I think for that one, we can't go any higher than the level 2 because of the linguistic devices. So I think it's going to be 11 out of the possible 24 marks for the content part of your answer. So if we look at the mark scheme for the technical aspect of your writing, and if we start off looking at level 2, it says sentence demarcation is mostly secure and sometimes accurate. Well, I don't think I have any issues with your end of sentence punctuation. Your full stops are fine. Your sentences don't go on too long. So yeah, that's I would say it is secure and it is accurate. And next one is some control of a range of punctuation. Now there are some issues with apostrophes or missing apostrophes, but as I said, we will be covering that in the next week or so. And you've missed out capital letters at the start of a couple of your sentences here and here. Here and here. So that's something that you need to make sure that you are putting in place, because that's basic mistakes. I know it's probably just oversight, but you do need to check that you've done that carefully. Uses a variety of sentence forms for effect. You've used compound sentences and complex sentences. I would like to see the odd short sentence in there. Well, for one thing, it gives dramatic effect to your writing. It also shows the examiner that you do know how to use the full range of sentences. So if you just throw in the odd very short sentence, even if it's just one word or two words, and sometimes the shorter the better. And then we've got some use of standard English with some control of agreement. On the whole, your grammar is good. I suspect where you've made a mistake, it's a typo error more than anything. And I know you've said that you don't like to read over your own work, but perhaps you do need to, just to make sure that you're getting as many marks as you can. Because we've got silly things like homework has become an outdated too, and you've put and, so it's a simple mistake like that. And here, such as the fact that it doesn't allow the teacher to see the student's progression, which is the point for which homework was originally intended. Again, I'm sure it's just an oversight that you've missed out the word there. And then there were just two bits where I'm not quite sure what you were saying, it's not quite clear. I'm not sure what this word was meant to be. And then you said they can do so without being disciplined for not handing it in, as well as allowing them to simply cut and paste from different sources as opposed to writing it out themselves. Well, I'm not quite sure that they should be in the same sentence where you said they can be disciplined for not handing it in, but also that it's allowing them to cut and paste. So I need a little bit of clarity on that one, and also on the one that I previously mentioned, which was this one here about the emphasis being placed on their low importance. Okay, so moving on, some accurate spelling of more complex words. Again, on the whole, your spelling is very good. You don't seem to have an issue with the longer words. Just a couple of mistakes, really. This one here, astounding, we should only have one S. This one has actually been part of our spelling test. Writing only has one T. I think, oh no, there's another one here. Whose should be WHOSE. That would be who is, short for there. And varied vocabulary. Yes, I would say you've used a great range of vocabulary, and you've used some of the more ambitious words as well, and you've spelt them correctly. So overall, I would say yes, you've met all of this. So probably just creeping into level 3 because of a little bit of clarity needed here, and some capital letters missing and apostrophes there. So I would say maybe 9 out of the possible 16 marks for this for the technical accuracy for this question, which is a good score. That gives you an overall total of 20 out of 40 for this question of the mock exam, which at this stage in the course, bearing in mind we've still got 5 months to go before the exams, is a really good score. So I would say that that's already hitting the C band, possibly the lower end of the C, but it's a really good score. So keep up the good work, keep attending, keep doing your homework and handing it in for marking, and I don't see any reason why you shouldn't be getting the equivalent to the C grade, if not higher, so well done.